You ever wake up one day thinking the worst thing you're going to deal with is a busted storm shutter? Maybe a few black bears sniffing around your compost heap, and by nightfall you realize someone's trying to erase your whole life with a forged will and a mouse click? Yeah, that happened to me. Let me back up a sec. I built my place in the Colorado Rockies piece by piece, my sweat in every nail, and bored my grandfather's name on the original deed from way back in 1971 when this was all just rock pine and cold mountain wind. 3 years it took me hauling lumber, running pipe rigging up a filtration system with leftover Navy parts. I even designed the solar array myself. This cabin isn't just a house, it's the last piece of my family story. And that's why when a stranger named Trevor wandered up to my porch one morning, shoes too clean, handshake too soft, asking if I actually lived here, I didn't take it seriously. Figured he was just another city guy who'd lost the trail or bought the wrong plot from a lazy realtor. I should have known better. The guy barely finished his awkward introduction before dropping this little bomb according to his map. My house was supposed to be his. I barked out a laugh and told him I had blueprints older than his haircut. He backed off, all smiles and apologies, said he'd just moved from Seattle, wished me luck with the bears, and drove off down the hill. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 days later, I come home from a hardware run and find a laminated notice taped to my gate, official seal and all, claiming temporary property stewardship by none other than Trevor Noland. Said he was assuming provisional control of my land under some bogus administrative code signature and all. My heart didn't race, it just started burning. You know that feeling when someone takes your coffee mug without asking? Now imagine it's your whole damn house. I called the sheriff. Deputy Hauer, a guy with the slow walk of someone who's seen too many wild disputes, came by. I handed him the fake notice and every document I had, deeds, blueprints, tax receipts, even the hand-drawn parcel map my grandfather kept. Hauer flipped through it. All said it was headed for civil court, not criminal, but he'd file a report. Told me to keep my cool. Sure. But inside I was ready for war. Trevor, meanwhile, wasn't backing down. He put up his own private land property of T. Nolan sign at the head of my driveway, staking his claim like it was the Wild West. The message was clear. This wasn't confusion. It was a hostile takeover by paperwork. And so I did what any sane man does when the ground starts shifting under his boots. I doubled down on my own records, asked the county clerk for a fresh title search, and made more copies than a paranoid squirrel at acorn time. Everything came back clean, my name on every line, but the plot thickened real fast. At the county land office, a clerk named Marissa Smart, sharp-eyed no-nonsense, pulled up my parcel on her computer and frowned. "That's odd," she muttered, and turned the screen. My property was suddenly flagged as ownership under review. Chain of title broken, my name gone. Last entry, my grandfather in 71. Everything after vanished. She dug into the logs and found an after-hours admin login, Greg Crawford supposedly out on medical leave for months. Either someone stole his credentials or Greg wasn't really sick. Either way, my record had been erased. I left with a migraine pounding behind my eyes. Next morning, someone slid an envelope under my door. Inside a will. Fake as a $3 bill signed by a Gordon Noland who's never owned land within a mile of my place, and notarized by a woman whose license had been revoked for fraud last year. That was it. I called my lawyer, Jillian Mercer, ex-Army JAG, now the meanest land litigator this side of the divide. She told me to collect everything, stay quiet, and record any contact. "You're not in a neighbor spat," she said. "This is attempted real estate theft. Wouldn't you know it?" Trevor showed up that evening, new flannel mug in hand, acting like this was all a misunderstanding. I didn't even let him finish. "Step off my gate. You forged claims, filed fake papers, and if you say another word, my attorney's going to say it back in court." He left with a look that said he wasn't done. And he wasn't. The next twist, digital forensics. Jillian brought in Silas, a guy who looked like he taught chess to robots, and within 20 minutes he'd traced the tampering in the LAN system right back to Trevor's house. The logins, the scripts, even the package delivered to Trevor, that same-day networking gear used to punch into the county records, plus an email from Trevor to the notary. If you use that old signature template, nobody's going to question the deed. We had the smoking gun. Trevor retaliated with a lawsuit, 20 pages of fever dream accusations. He claimed I'd illegally built on his uncle's land, cost him $500,000 in development losses, and caused him psychological distress. Jillian grinned. Good. He's overplayed his hand. Now we get discovery. She filed for dismissal, added a counterclaim for malicious prosecution and fraud, and got a judge to freeze all property actions until we sorted this mess. But Trevor wasn't playing alone. Suddenly, drones started buzzing over my property, small, quiet, aiming right for my windows. I knocked one out of the sky with a PVC pipe, and sure enough, the registration traced back to an email belonging to Kendra Malin, assistant director at the county land office. And Trevor's cousin. You see the pattern? It wasn't a lone wolf, it was a pack. Jillian's forensic guys dug deeper, and soon we had evidence Kendra had logged into the system using her credentials, altering permits and deleting records. County cameras caught Trevor sneaking into the office after hours with Kendra's swipe card. By the time we rolled into court, our case was thicker than a mountain blizzard. The Judge Maddox was having none of Trevor's theatrics. Jillian shredded their evidence, laid out the timeline, fake wills, tampered deeds, missing permit files, and the cherry on top, surveillance footage of Trevor and Kendra tampering together. The courtroom went cold. The county sent teams to reset my boundaries, apologize for the mess, and handed me a fresh parcel, overlay my land clean and uncontested. For a moment, I almost believed it was over. But these people don't quit easy. Someone filed a retroactive permit with my forged signature, freezing all my property upgrades. Then came a midnight truck idling at the end of my driveway, no plates, just headlights in the dark and a slow roll away. Jillian filed contempt charges. Silas traced more drone flights back to Trevor's Wi-Fi. And then came the final bombshell trail, cams planted all around my property, set to catch me violating something. The man in the last photo, Lawrence Malin, Kendra's retired father, former land commissioner. It was a family operation. These people had done this before. The DA got involved, pulled at the thread, found a pattern of remote landowners, most older or alone, targeted for compliance or reclassification until they gave up or sold out cheap. Some had died or disappeared, their land turned into eco-resorts or luxury homes. My case was the tip of the iceberg. When the trial hit, the courtroom was packed, reporters, families, a few county officials who looked like they'd swallowed nails. Jillian's strategy: hit with facts, show the pattern, then drive home the motive. Emails, drone logs, forged deeds, whistleblower testimony, a map from Lawrence's home, with my parcel labeled stubborn, won't budge. Trevor tried to play the victim, claimed he didn't know what his family was up to, but his fingerprints were everywhere. Kendra tried the bureaucratic dance, but Jillian had the email, "Let's bury this guy in violations." Lawrence just stared at the wall. I took the stand, told the truth about my wife's life insurance, every inch of this house, the dogs I buried on the ridge, and the day I woke up erased because some old man with a county seal thought I wouldn't fight back. I wasn't asking for sympathy, just protection for me and anyone who lives too far out to scream for help. Jury took 3 days. Verdict: guilty on all counts, conspiracy, fraud, stalking, public corruption. Lawrence got 15 years, Kendra got 12. Trevor 10. County opened a full-scale corruption probe, 2 more staffers indicted, and the governor ordered a statewide audit. Jillian helped me win back every right plus a civil settlement and a court-ordered apology letter which I framed over my fireplace, not as a trophy but as a warning. So tell me, what's justice in a world where the real thieves wear suits and wield a keyboard instead of a crowbar? Ever had to fight for something that should have been yours all along? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your own battles, your wins and losses. Because out here, sometimes all you have is the truth, a good dog, and the guts to keep fighting.